This lesson is on how to create a credit reel for your production. So I'm going to create a new project. Obviously, you probably have your project ready made. Yeah, I'll just call this Almeida. So the cool thing is, if you have somebody in your group working on this, they can say this is a Premiere project, bring it in, and just put it at the end of your main edit on your production. Okay. All right. So not to bore you with this other stuff, guys, figure out the compositions. So yeah, make sure that your comp or your sequence is the same size as the comp you're working with on another computer. All right, very simply, guys, I'm not going to bore you. Title, new title, default role. I'm going to zoom in on this, guys, or you can zoom in on if you like. Default role. What ends up happening is Premiere puts it on your project bin. Now, there's different ways of doing this. I'm going to show you a really cool style on creating a credit reel. I'm going to click and drag with my text tool a box. Now, I'm going to make this box bigger than the actual area of the sequence. I put it on the left-hand side for a reason, and I'm going to right justify this text. I'm going to say one of your titles is going to be director. Okay. Now, if I don't like that font, on the side here, guys, you can change the font. I'm going to use a font I have here. I'm going to go with a thin typeface. Now, watch this trick. I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard. So if you guys are watching this, the icon turns to two little small triangles. I'm going to duplicate this and hold Shift. That keeps it aligned together. And now this one, I'm going to left justify the text. And I'm going to choose instead of thin, maybe a medium or semi-bold text. Now, if for some reason things are not lined up properly, when you select more than two objects, in this case I'm holding Shift and clicking on both, you can align things right over here. So I can say align top vertically. Okay. Now they were aligned properly and they're fine. Now, what I'm going to do here is okay. Now, as you go on, I'm going to press Enter. Notice those lines of text. Okay. Producer, enter, enter. Camera, enter, enter. Host, music. Now, as I enter and enter, the text keeps on going down. I now have to stretch my box and extend it. Now, note, this right here indicates how this previews on the screen. So typically, if I move this to the beginning, I would want this box, or in this case, I want both boxes to go down below the screen area. So it will actually start rolling off the screen. Now, if you want this to come off the screen, so it ends at the top, select the box, stretch it out, and just add a few extra enters of blankness. Okay? So as you scroll through, and if I grab both boxes here, so this will indicate whether or not the text will be visible at the end of your credit reel. Now, this is not going to be accurate because I need to now align both of these together. Now, every time, here I'm just going to copy and paste this. I press Enter, I'm going to match up and press Command because you want the left side and right side to match up. Now, I put extra spaces in here just because if you have more than one person doing camera or another person doing microphone and all that. So the left-hand side would be the role, and the right-hand side would be the person's name that contributed to that role. Okay. Anyways, you can do it this way. It's a pretty cool way. I'm going to stop this and then bring this over and then put it onto my main timeline. Now, as you can see, when I play it through, now it started a little bit abruptly. I'm going to double click and I'll go to the beginning. And the reason why is those two things are right there. I'm going to have both these boxes. Let's align them and bring it below the viewing area. So now it'll scroll through. So if something happens, always double click. And there's your credit reel rolling through. If you want it slower, increase the length of the credits and it will come out slower. Faster, make it shorter. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So that's one way. That's a 2-column style credit reel. If you want to do 1 column, I find this a little bit more trickier, but if you want to make a boring 1-column one, just click and drag a box, type in director on one side, and then space. Okay, and it's kind of boring that way, but you can do it this way. And if you want to play with text typography, you can go. There's a way to do all caps as well. Let me just. Yeah, you can do that as well if you wanted things to change the font size. Let's go bold here. Yeah, if you do it this way, you just type in enter. But I just find the 2-column style a little bit nicer. But yeah, this works as well. Essentially, guys, you're just making a box. Remember that this scroll wheel indicates where it's shown on the screen. So this will start off the screen, roll through, and this is the end. Okay, so if you want to do 1 column, that is an option as well. It automatically gets put at the end. And remember, the length of the credit reel, smaller or larger, will make it slower or faster. Okay. Any questions before I end this little lesson? Okay, so you have 2 styles. You can do 1 column, or you can do a 2-column style box. Just keep that in mind. Include all the people that were contributed in this production of yours. Don't forget to maybe get some credit for the music if you use royalty-free music or an artist of some sort. If you use images, for example, Isaiah used images from the NBA, maybe give them some credit. Okay, so give credit where it's due. That's why it's called a credit reel. Okay. All right, and we're done.